Hi, everybody. For those that don't know me, I'm Lucy. I'm the Policy and Campaigns Coordinator at NACCOM. And here at NACCOM, we've got some funding from Lloyds Foundation to engage David, a data consultant, over the next few months. And David's goal is to increase the network's capacity to capture information, which is needed both for individual member organisational development and nationally for our campaigning and advocacy work. So throughout this time, we're going to be sharing knowledge and tools to develop skills and confidence, improve data monitoring systems, and as part of the work, in partnership with Asylum Matters, we're going to be exploring ways to use data gathering systems for influencing purposes. So to help us get started with the project, we just wanted to introduce you to David and ask a few quick questions about the work. So David, what benefits do organisations experience when they're supported to improve their data capture?
Okay, I'd say probably first pointing out that I think sort of data capture as a phrase, or anything that has data in it, often just strikes fear into the heart of many sort of organisations, or make them sort of groan and try and bury their head in the sand. I think usually thinking about sort of data and impact and what you do with information usually just translates into being a bit of an admin headache. But I think fundamentally for me, one of the benefits of this project will be just trying to kind of help members with that sort of, administrative sort of headache and the burden that goes with data. But for me, groups usually have sort of clear benefits around, it makes it easier for them to report to funders, that may have, sort of routine, quarterly or annual sort of returns. Gives the groups themselves a much clearer sense of what they're doing well. And that I find is often really helpful for sort of internal purposes, a bit of a pat on the back, just proving what you do. But also useful for external links with supporters or wider sort of partner sort of bodies. I think fundamentally, if you've got a good data sort of system, it usually means you can use that evidence to, in effect, prove and improve what you do, which means you're able to look at your services and improve them so that ultimately they're better for the people that actually use those services. But for me, overall, I think this project in particular will help members improve their confidence around sort of data capture and data usage, and just give them the kind of really cold, hard evidence that just sort of justifies and proves that what they are doing is what they should be doing.
That sounds great. Do you think that people need to be tech wizards to engage with this work?
I would love it if I get to engage with wizards through this piece of work, but in reality, no, not at all. And I think, if anything, the groups that will get a lot of benefit from this are maybe those that aren't particularly sort of tech savvy or have got all singing or dancing kind of IT systems. I think it's got to be about looking at what members have in place kind of already, and then looking for the practical ways to kind of improve and enhance that and build on what they've got. It's not a case of coming in with predetermined ideas. I think some of the sort of basic ways that we might see some improvements is around kind of initial referral forms, that kind of thing, just standardizing those, helping groups maybe to look better at their use of Excel to manipulate and actually just sort of use data and sort the data into useful information for them. And I think where it's appropriate, and it won't be for everybody, I have to admit, but for where it is appropriate, helping them to sort of move on to bigger and better sort of data capture frameworks and systems, sort of maybe more sort of mainstream CRM type systems, if that's their one. But as I say, it's not a one size fits all approach. And I think for me, kind of overall, I think we have to sort of step back almost and just admit that the world is becoming much more sort of data driven and led by just information. And I think this project will really help members sort of keep up with that and make their life easier in sort of gathering and using that data.
So last question is, where do you hope members are going to be with this work by the summer? Where do we kind of want to get to roughly?
Yeah, good question. I think, again, no fixed answer, if I'm being honest, because again, it's not a one size fits all approach. And what might be great for kind of one member, a different member will have very sort of differing requirements given where they're at in terms of IT, tech, sort of staff, volunteer capacity. So it's fine if not everyone's coming along at the same speed. That's completely sort of natural. I think from my point of view, we've got the bones of a project plan that's kind of in 3 stages or chunks, if you will. The first one is around looking at your annual survey. And for me, that's very much around looking at how it actually works. Can we improve it? How do members engage with that? What are some of the sort of challenges or opportunities to really make sure that that's both easy for members to complete, but also then gives NACCOM useful information on which to sort of base its own future services to help better support its members. The sort of second sort of phase of 3 is around running sort of workshops, giving practical support and guidance on sort of easing that process for data management. It's about looking at achievable solutions. Again, not a one-size-fits-all approach. It's got to be what's right for members, to look at their individual situations, where they are now, where they want to be, and sort of helping them on that sort of data journey, if you will, of making it kind of easier for them. And then the third and final part of the work is working with a sort of smaller group of members, as well as Asylum Matters partners, to look at particularly sort of data systems for where we can better influence key areas of sort of advocacy or policy change in the longer term. So what I mean by that is really looking, sort of drilling down on what data information members and partners have got, just looking at how we can better use that to make long-term sort of systemic change. But for me, it's about, again, I'll just keep saying it, to be honest, it's about making life easier for your members, you know, sort of breaking down some of the fears about kind of, you know, sort of data and data capture and systems, you know, frameworks, and just helping everyone to have a system that makes their life easier and means we've got better data to prove better stuff.
Great, thank you so much, David. Hopefully everybody, that's given you a bit of a flavour of what we're going to be talking about, and introduces you to David and some of his ideas and his work. We're going to be in touch with more details about the work in the coming weeks. We've got a webinar planned, and we'll be introducing you by email to David as the work develops and as the kind of opportunities for workshops and other kind of consultation sort of pans out. So we hope that together we can develop some really exciting ways of working better all together with our data collection. Thanks, everybody.